Vin.
I'm sorry.
Boy, this is commitment, ladies and gents.
Oh my gosh.
We feel horrible. I'm Vin. She's sorry. We review music. Look, it's one of the things that when you're having a bad day, things aren't going the way they're supposed to. I always say to myself,
the Alliance picked a good one.
I always say to myself, well, I'm gonna have some music. Gotta be able to hang out with my friends, which is kind of weird because like nobody's really here.
But they feel like they are.
But it feels like they're here, especially with the Alliance. So this is the
Epic Underground.
Epic Underground. That's who's on that one? I think it's a dude that I'm gonna go to a Patriots game with. I think.
Oh really? I'm not really sure.
This is the Epic Underground.
You guys, I'm over 33 weeks now, and I feel like garbage today, and so I'm lying back in my chair because my belly hurts.
Basura.
Anyway.
I just think she's lazy. That's what I think. She's not edifying.
Anyway.
Okay, so this is Persefone, Living Waves. This should be interesting.
I keep wanting to say Living Waters.
Yeah, I know. That's why I couldn't find the lyrics. Are you ready?
Yep.
And gonna go.
Oh.
I flow. I am the ocean. I vibrate. Behold the sound of living.
Whoa.
I live behind the screen of thought. Projections have no substance here. A standard thread informs my life. I taste the coals that burn my eyes. I am the pain, the joy and the fight. There's no
Come on, brother minister. You guys gotta see this video. I hope this video doesn't get blocked, yo.
I know. Wow.
Holy moly. That's
good
song and a very, 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 very good message.
Yeah, I like the sound too.
Yeah, people are really starting to. So this is a progressive band, right? Like, it says melodic death metal here, but they definitely, if they're not like branded a progressive band, they definitely have progressive like elements to their song structures or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Definitely some next level ish. What'd you like about the song?
Well, I liked the sound of it. I liked the noises that they were making in it, and I liked the background in the video, like what was going on up in the sky.
What do you mean the noises?
There was just like
the atmosphere stuff that the keyboardist was doing?
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. I really liked that stuff. And then I liked, really, sonically, I liked the whole thing.
It seemed to have
I really liked the last verse.
Yeah. The last couple weeks I've been itching for some transcendent moments, just in my own spirituality, you know, like feel a little bit too earthbound. So I love the, you know, I think there's that whole drive within the human being, and for however you want to explain it, there's a reason, you know, we have sci-fi movies where people get off the planet and go explore, or a reason that DMT is so fashionable, and whatever you want to say, you know, whether you want to come at it from a scientific perspective or a religious perspective, and obviously from my worldview there's really no difference. It's just is it me or is it just hot in here?
Oh, I feel so hot. I feel like I'm gonna.
I don't know if the weather is the weather change or what, but yeah, like I just feel like, you know, I think from time to time people feel that need to like go somewhere. You know what I mean? Like that's not of this world. Obviously, like from a spiritual perspective, I have those moments a lot. You know what I mean? Like with God, and you know.
Yeah.
You have certain moments where it's
in prayer or in different songs. Some of the songs that we listen to here.
Yeah. And I've been reading up on stuff because I just got done that, you know, that debate and stuff. So I'm like digging deeper into the passages in question, which has been great because it's like even more stuff. I'm like, holy moly! Like this guy.
I've enjoyed what you found.
Isaiah was like really, really purposeful about what he was trying to do here. You know. But yeah, it's kind of a weird thing because, like, you know, especially my religious tradition, Reformed Christianity. Your tradition was more experiential, you know, being a Pentecostal, whereas my identification with Reformed Christianity was more cognitive and more about rationalism and syllogism and things like that. And so there's like that disconnect with the, like, you know what I mean? So here it's like, I transcend, I flow, I am the ocean, I vibrate, behold the sound of a living, or of the living, or a living, I'm not sure. But the concept of like transcending beyond certain things and like evolving as an individual, but it also seems like evolving as a species, you know, together. It's almost something that, you know, there's no separation in this illusion. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's using first person singular, but I think it's also maybe a humanity type of thing. What were you gonna say?
At first, I just thought he was literally talking about the ocean. Sorry. At first, I thought he was literally talking about the ocean and the ocean's influence on all of us, because, you know, like there's a correlation between the ocean and the moon, and like. So I thought that he was going somewhere with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, guys. I feel so horrible right now. Yeah, so I thought that's where it was going. I really liked, but then when he got to the end, I let go of anger, I let go of judgment, I let go of guilt, I let go of fear. then I was like, oh, maybe he was talking about himself the whole time. Like maybe it was.
What gave you the clue? Was it the constant use of the first person singular?
Well, no, because the first person singular is used throughout the entire thing. But when it was like I am the ocean, I thought it was like the ocean talking. You know, and that when it says I vibrate, behold the sound of a living wave, like I thought it was like the actual ocean and how the ocean and the water affects us.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know, and how it, but then.
Because you're a very big ocean person.
I love the ocean.
That's one of the things that's tripping up our house hunt is that it's got to be X miles away from the ocean, which we will only be able to enjoy for 3 months out of the year, 2.5 months out of the year. Ocean out there. Huh?
You just put a sweatshirt on.
It was in the snow, trudging through the frozen sand. We're in Maine. We're from France.
May, June, July, August, September, October.
I let go.
5 months.
Well, it was like he was like, "I let go of anger." Like I wish he would have sang that part. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, but to me it was like.
Why are you doing the death vocals on the part where you finally like hit your moment of enlightenment, bro?
Because I felt like he was doing it like. This was a commitment that he was setting for himself. It wasn't something that he had already done. But it was like a commitment, like I am gonna let go. Like I've come to this place, I'm gonna let go of anger. Yeah.
Determined. Yeah, I still didn't like it.
Yeah.
I feel like that.
I did.
I'm not sure if they thought that part through. You know what I mean? Like, is the sonic aesthetics, is that matching what we're trying to say story-wise? I mean, it could be. Mm-hmm. But like, you know, and I don't really like. Sometimes with progressive bands, and I'm saying this is a compliment to this band, like, especially with the guitar work, it's just like, look at me! Mm-hmm. But, I don't know, I felt like everything matched exactly with what they were trying to do in the song.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to do something transcendent, so instrumentally speaking, it had to be a little bit fancy. If you're talking about, like, the next stage in your evolution as a person or us as a collective species, like you gotta be a little bit fancy and spacey. And I thought the guitars were like that. Even the heavy sections were still like something you haven't really heard before. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And not something where it's like, oh, I could, you know, like I felt like instrumentally speaking, like they landed it perfectly. I would have just liked to have, and I like the guy's voice. I like the melody.
Me too.
Like, I'm a sucker for melody, I always will be. But, like, especially that last part, if he would have sang that, I'd been like, yes, but, I mean, still, I like the message of the song.
So when he says, I am the ocean, what do you think he means by that?
Well, I think the ocean can be metaphorical for a lot of things, you know? Like, to me, when I think about the ocean, so there's this thing on Netflix called My Octopus Teacher. It's a documentary, and it was weird because I found it in a Christian forum, and the particular forum is usually not very
good at
like
suggesting stuff.
Well, it's usually just, you know, like, oh, this Christian documentary or whatever.
Yeah.
It was this documentary about this guy who like meets this octopus. Like, it's a literal document. I'm gonna watch it. You're gonna pass out. I'm gonna watch it tonight. But it's this guy. He meets this octopus in the ocean, mm-hmm. And then he goes like, "What if I went and visited it every day?" And so like the whole documentary is about this guy scuba diving down and running into this octopus, and for whatever reason he believes it's the same octopus. It probably is. I don't know. Maybe you put a little band, little thing on it like they do. But anyway, anytime I see people like completely underwater, or I watch one of those nature specials where it's like completely underwater and there's that quiet, but then it's teeming with all this life, like there's that like instantaneous, because usually when you have life, you usually have chaos. So like when you go into a birthing unit, for example, like there's nothing but chaos, there's blood everywhere, people are screaming, people are saying 5 things at once, yada yada yada. But that's because life is occurring. But when you go to the ocean and you watch these documentaries, like it's quiet and it's peaceful, but you're inundated with life. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? Unless you're doing the Scientologist thing where they have like the silent birth stuff. Yeah, it's a big thing in Scientology. Is silent birth. Like you're supposed to stay like completely quiet. I don't know. Maybe if you're focusing on staying quiet, You're not focusing on being in pain. I
The
don't
doctor
know.
told my mom to be quiet.
So maybe that's the thing. But anyway, like so anyway, when I think about like the ocean, like, and there's even I was watching this philosophy thing and I could never find it after I watched it. I'm kicking myself. But the guy was talking about like having this oceanic experience. And he didn't go and define what he meant by oceanic experience, but everybody knew what he was talking about. Like he was having this like crazy, like, you know, where you're completely and totally inundated from head to toe with this water, right? But it's not like it's just such a hard thing to describe. So anyway, I love the ocean metaphor because the ocean is so powerful. It can kill you, but it's teeming with life. If you're on the outside of it, all you hear is the roar of the ocean, but when you're inside of it, you don't hear anything.
The surface is chaotic, but
Right.
I think that when you get underneath, it's kind of...
Right. So that's like, and he talks about it, the sound of a living wave, right?
Yeah.
And so he's saying like, he himself is a living wave, and he's, and I just think that that's important, man. That's an important thing to like view yourself that way. Because a wave is consequential. It's gonna have a consequence on the shore. And I think like if you're just walking around and you're not being intentional about life and you're just floating all over the place, then you're gonna do a lot of shit to people because you don't realize how important you are. See, that's the other side of the whole self-esteem thing. Like if a person says you're too self-important, like if a person's like, oh, you're too self-important, like on the one hand, nobody likes the arrogant guy, but on the other hand, that guy understands that he affects the people around him. And so, but if you have a person who's like, I'm nothing, I'm blah, and that, like that person's having a mega effect of the people around them and they're not aware of it.
Yeah.
So they're not aware because it's like, it's what you are. It's not something that you try to be. And it doesn't matter how insignificant you are affecting the people around you. So, you know, that's one of the many reasons that, you know, when people say, oh, Vin, you arrogant bastard, I don't care. But that's one of the reasons is because it's like, you know, I know that I affect the people around me, and it's not because, you know, I'm particularly important. It's just because I'm awake. And I understand that I could destroy somebody's sandcastle, and there's some sandcastles I want to destroy, right? So I channel the energy that way, or you know, so or I could leave little gifts on the shore like the wave does. So there's so many crazy metaphors with the concept of being a living wave that, and then you have to have both of those extremes within yourself. You have to have that kind of roaring at the surface type of thing so that you can affect change on the surface, but you also have to have that depth within you that nobody can see unless they get down, you know, they get down there and all that, and then that's where all your life is, and that's where you put all your secrets. You know, like there's still animals and all this shit that people are discovering like just now, and God was like,
oh yeah, there's still a bunch of stuff that we haven't gotten to.
all these silly human beings walking around feeling like they're so enlightened and all this, and God's like, you don't even know the first thing about your own planet. You don't even know what, like, what's down there, dummy. But here you are, you know the secret. Oh, there's no God. Shaw. You don't even know what's in the ocean. You just figured out a year ago that there was a, you know, Triceratops' third cousin down there or whatever. It was funny too because people are saying that like you ever heard the theory that an octopus or octopi are actually aliens?
Yes.
Yeah, so the guy was mentioning that too. So like it's just, there's just a lot of really cool things about the ocean if you really think about it. The ocean metaphor is pretty crazy, and I feel like I've never heard a song or a poem that utilized the ocean metaphor that failed. Like, I feel like that one is like ready-made,
it's universal.
tailor-made. Like if you screw up using an ocean metaphor in art, you just pack it up, man. You're supposed to be a welder. No disrespect to welders.
You're supposed to be.
No disrespect, but if you can't use an ocean metaphor and make it work, you gotta go. You gotta do something else. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. We need welders. We need welders and we need artists. And there's too many welders that should be artists and too many artists that should be welders. But these guys need to be artists because
they're
they did
very
a
good at what
damn
they do.
good job. They did, and like, again, like understanding that there is a transcendent component to who we are as people. You know, I was listening to Sam Harris again. It's just like he chooses his words very carefully. because he's got a financial investment in choosing his words very clearly. But even he's talking about it. Like you got to recognize that there's a transcendent component to being a human being. You know, I say you want to say that we're animals, fine, but we're not just that.
Right.
There's something mysterious about us, and call it whatever you want. I call it spirit. You know, you can call it whatever you want. But there's something that's, you know, you can call it your pineal gland or whatever you want to say. You want to completely naturalize everything, which, go ahead. But there is something transcendent about the human nature, and I think it's important to recognize that no matter what your overarching belief system is. What do you get the song?
9.8.
This is a 9.98. It would have been a 10 if they would have sang that last part. Sorry, fellas. Maybe you can sing it in the remix. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go.
There's no separation.